There's a movement to see that hell is primarily a state of consciousness, not necessarily a place. Is there such a thing as a place in eternity? We don't know. Presumably there's some kind of boundaries, but we don't know what these are. And we spoke of the resurrection of the body as a spiritual body, but Paul doesn't tell us what a spiritual body is or can do. But if it's a state of consciousness, now this is something that we can handle intelligibly, at least for people somewhat educated, and because we know that psychological states vary, and that they're sometimes influenced by circumstances or by our own temperamental makeup or by passion arised by certain situations that prevent one from making a full consent to a particular course of action. In cognitive psychotherapy, which is fairly popular in our time, we recognize that it's the thoughts that we have, not so much the action or the events that we encounter, that cause the various emotional reactions that occur and then lead to action, which is really not free. So the only true freedom really is to be free to do God's will all the time without any difficulty and with a certain enjoyment. But this is precisely humanity's natural state that was either lost through original sin, if one can identify with that belief, or it's the result of our unevolved state in which we're still unduly under the influence of animal instincts that we haven't been able to integrate into the specifically human mode of functioning with responsibility, accountability, and a certain sense of oneness with our other members of our species. If you see hell as it's increasingly perceived by theologians, and not even believed in by a great part of the faithful, at least until they have a near-death experience, then you have to think of it as a state to which you can get in.
What I hear you saying, Thomas, is hell is part of the human condition. That is not experienced at the end of death. It's part of the dying process throughout life.
Yes, it happens right now, and it is happening. And the false self creates such a terrible hell that you don't need an external one.